Taj Mahal is like everything because through the Taj Mahal I can learn about the religion.
Mumtaz was the wife of Shah Jahan who built it.
We call it like Mumtaz Mahal. It is the British who changed this name because they had problem to pronounce Mumtaz.
We popped off to Ayat restaurant. Looks cooked to perfection, and they know how to cook a fish in India. Oh my god.
The juiciest, butteriest fish I've ever had.
Oh my god. Of course, we got a side of slippery, buttery naan. I have come here today to continue on this wonderful video at the Taj Mahal in Agra. Kind of summarize my thoughts on Islam and Muslims more generally, especially what I've learned in the last year and a half about Islam, Muslims in general, and I'll give a preface to everything. I am Israeli American. I grew up Jewish, still am Jewish. That's sort of the ethno-religion that I practice. Also grew up visiting Israel my whole life, so I've never been far from Islam or Muslims my entire life. I think for a lot of people, especially a lot of Americans or Westerners, when you say the word Islam or Muslims, it's sort of this faraway, exotic religion. But to me, it's always felt somewhat homey, like it's always been around. I've always been exposed to it. It's never been something that I've needed to like access from far away. It's always been around. And I grew up with Muslim friends. I grew up with friends in Israel that are Arab Muslims, Arab Israelis, Palestinians, that I've known, that I grew up as friends with, you know, that I've grew up conversing with. And as I've grown up in my adult life, I've allowed more Muslims and more Arabs and more Islamic people into my life. This country, India, has taught me more about Islam in a way than I feel like anywhere else in the world has. I should also furthermore explain about that sort of disconnect that I feel like a lot of people have with Islam, where it feels like this faraway religion. I don't think I've ever had a problem with Muslims or with Islam. I think that my family's history is problematic with specifically Islamic Arabs or Arabs who practice Islam, which is a lot of Arabs, granted, because Islam does come from the Arabian Peninsula and is a predominantly Arab religion, even though far and wide beyond the Arabian Peninsula and is now in pretty much every place in the world. I think that any of my sort of problems or prejudgments or prejudice that I might have grown up with, thoughts, beliefs, I guess you could call some of it racism, has never come towards the religion, towards Islam, towards Muslims. It's always been more of like a Arab-Israeli thing. Just growing up being Jewish, being Israeli with that identity, it's hard to find yourself connecting with Arab people if you don't sort of break those barriers. I luckily have throughout the last couple of years, and so I obviously don't practice and preach what I grew up with or what a lot of the communities I grew up with do. But yeah, I also totally understand where the people that I grew up with and how we come to think the way that we think. And I think that Islam has become such an interesting thing for me. And I'll explain it like this. Being Jewish is a very interesting thing. It's both a religion and a people group. You know, and the lines are sort of muddled in between where one begins and one stops. Because I practice these sets of beliefs and these holidays and a dietary restriction and etc., etc., etc. But I'm also a Jew because I was kicked out of Muslim countries, Arab countries, for being a Jew. Not because of my religion, but because of, I mean, when I say me, I mean my grandparents, my family's history, were kicked out for being a Jew because of our religion or because of our ethnicity. Same thing goes for Europe and the Holocaust. People there are white-presenting Ashkenazi Jewish people. You know, what happened to them during that horrible event didn't happen to them because of their religion. It happened because of their ethnicity, or did it? That's a confusing part. And so Islam to me, growing up, has always been sort of our, like, little brother religion, quote unquote. There's a lot of similarities. For a Jew, for example, we grow up with this belief that we're allowed to pray in a mosque, in a masjid, and we're not allowed to pray in a church or in a Buddhist temple or in a Hindu kovi. Like, we're actually not even allowed to enter these places of worship within our religion because they believe in multiple gods or multiple deities. And in Islam, there's a belief only in Allah, only in one God. And when Jesus is sort of accepted as God himself, in a lot of Christianity and Catholicism, even in the Quran, Jesus, he's not God. He's a prophet, but he's never the embodiment of God. Same as Muhammad, he's never God. He's just a prophet. He's a great prophet. He's the last prophet, but he's He's only a prophet. He's a human being with a lot of power and a lot of spirit, but he's a human being. He's not a god. And so I think that's where we make the distinction. And to me, growing up knowing that while Muslims are my brethren in that sense, has always made me feel somewhat comfortable around the idea of Islam. While I think Islam and Judaism don't share tons of values, like the example of the idea of conversion, to me, you can convert very easily to become a Muslim. And Judaism, it's kind of like taking on a tribal identity. You have to like become a Jew. Is a big process. It takes many years, costs a lot of money. It's like you can't just become a Jew very easily. Jewish people actually dissuade people from converting to the religion. It's not something that's very accepted. And you know, like I think there was a lot of lessons for me to unfold, and I'll begin at the end, which will be sort of this last chapter with with Muslims and Islam for this big trip in Asia, here in the Taj Mahal. In the Taj Mahal, I learned how this Iranian Persian sect of Sufi Islam infiltrated India and created its own identity in this country that already had so much vast like deities, you know, like Hinduism and Buddhism, that already spread so far and wide in this country, embraced this idea of Sufi Islam.
Can I ask you also, you yourself are a Muslim, born and raised Muslim here in Agra. And do you know the population number of Muslims in Agra?
You know the number of I mean in terms of composition, it is like 20 to 80. 20% are Muslim. But you know, in Agra we have the unified culture. We believe that a culture which is called Ganga Jamna Tehzeeb. I mean the combination of two religions, the combination of two culture. So in Agra, the Hindu and the Muslim are living very peacefully together, and they all believe Taj Mahal is like the beautiful building, like the symbol of unity. Because at the time of that occasion, even the Hindu people are coming here for pay their gratitude, their homage to worship king and the queen. So it is a building, I must say, is a symbol of the unity in India, for Hindus, for Muslims, for everybody. It's a pride for me, pride for my country, for India. And you know, we have only 7 wonders of the world. This is one of the 7 wonders of the world, and this is number 1.
Now, I've seen the comments. I know that a lot of Muslims don't regard Sufi Islam or Sufism as a real Islam. To me, looking in from the outside, and not to give my expert opinion by any means, because I'm not so well versed in Islam or in the Quran or anything like that, I see Sufism as such a beautiful way to interpret the Quran and the teachings of Allah and Muhammad and all the stories of the Old Testament, the New Testament that are sort of wound up in the Quran. I find that Sufism is such a beautiful way to sort of channel that through a funnel and interpret it out in this concept of love, which is the one thing that I drew from all the conversations that we had about Islam in India. And I think that we really do need more of this today in the world. Not saying that mainstream Islam, Sunni or Shiite, is problematic by any sense, because again, no matter who you want to talk to in this world, whoever likes to be Islamophobic and say that Muslims are a problem in the world, it's not the truth. 99% of Muslims on planet Earth are great people. It's 99.9.9 are fantastic, normal people who live their everyday lives, don't bother anybody. There's a small vocal minority that's made a mess and represented badly the religion and the belief system for all these people throughout the year. And so when I think of, and again I'm Jewish, but when I think about my brothers and sisters that are Muslim in Indonesia or in Malaysia or here in the Philippines, in the south of the Philippines, in India, in Sri Lanka, I don't think of these people as my enemy. I think of them as people who just, no, these are people who I could go to their prayer house, they can come to mine. For the most part, they can eat my food. I can't eat much of theirs, but they can eat my food religiously, halal and kosher. We believe in the same God. We believe in a lot of the same prophets, a lot of the same part of the religion. We stem ourselves back to Abraham. We believe in the source of what this is. And then this Sufism comes along and sort of interprets all of it, believes in all of it, but brings it out through this funnel of love, of saying, okay, do what you want, practice what you want, believe what you want to believe within Islam, practice the rules, give your charity, eat halal, this, that, whatever, but the most important thing is spreading love. And that's something I feel like even in my own belief system in Judaism, we don't hearken on big enough, and I felt so easy to speak to and so easy to be loved and accepted by all the Muslim people that I met in India. It was like this facet of Islam I've never encountered before, and it's actually made me want to travel to a place like Iran, which I'm not sure how much of that is left there, the Sufism, but knowing that that's the source of where Sufi Islam came from, it makes me very much want to travel to there to like understand and interact with people who practice Sufi Islam at the source, at the core, and learn more about this, you know, this aspect of this amazing religion. I think in the last year, I've pushed myself, in the last year and a half, I've pushed myself to speak to more Muslims, to understand Islam on a more deeper level. I actually bought in my house a Quran that I sometimes pick up and read. It's an English translated Quran. I can't speak Arabic yet. I'm still practicing that, but at the moment I'm just sort of slowly reading the Quran, familiarizing myself with it a little bit more. Not because I want to convert by any means, because I don't. I want to make that very clear. I'm very happy and content being Jew, being a Jewish, being a Jew. I'm perfectly confused enough with my own belief system where I don't feel like I can take on another. But what I want to know is I want to familiarize myself more with the way that Muslims think, with the way that Islamic people see the world. It's very important to me because I feel like we stem from a similar place and a similar ideology. And so in that last year and a half, I've really pushed myself between meeting Palestinians in the West Bank and in Jerusalem and in the north of Israel, and my friends in the Emirates, specifically my friend Sumaya, took me around and helped me make one of the most viral videos I have on this channel in the last year, and learning about being an Arab Muslim woman through her, and furthermore going to a place like India and learning about Islam there. And I know when we go to Sri Lanka, I'm going to be learning about it there. But I mean, my journey with Islam has been years now. You know, it's been a very long time coming. And each time I encounter more Muslim people, I learn more lessons about, one, all the things that I grew up with, all the prejudgments that I had, everything I heard in the news growing up in America, for the most part, has been misguided and wrong. There have been exceptions. I did go to countries like Jordan and Egypt where I did see a side of Arabic Islamism that to me wasn't like the soft, cuddly part like Sufism is, or what I saw in the UAE, or even what I saw hanging out with Palestinians. Not saying that it doesn't exist in any of these places, but it's just the Islam that I feel like I gravitate towards, that I want to learn more about, that I'm so curious about and so intrigued, is the one that brings me in, not in a sense of, hey, we want you to convert to this religion, or hey, this religion is the right religion. It's just this idea of come as you are. And there's been so many Muslims that I've met around the world that have shown me this sort of come as you are mentality. You tall come, first come, usually come sit first then eat. But besides the eat, like first come and introduce yourself and get to know us, and then we can sort of go from there, instead of it being like, what's your religion, who are you, what's wrong with you. I have encountered that. I'm not saying that I haven't. It has happened. But for the most part, the majority has been very welcoming, very soft, very loving. And that's something that I really love. I really gravitate to. And I have to say, like, not to say anything bad about Buddhism or Hinduism or Christianity or any religion in the world, but comparatively, I don't know if it's something in my soul or something, you know, in the energy that I put around myself, but Islam is something that every time I feel like I come closer to encountering it, a softer side of it appears to me. And to be honest with you guys, I didn't know anything about Sufism before going to India. I didn't honestly even know that it existed. I've heard the word, I heard it as a trigger word, and I knew that mainstream Islamic people, mainstream Muslim people weren't fond of it. That's what I knew. Do I know that that's the truth? No. I saw what people commented on the video we uploaded with the amazing Jafar giving us a lesson about Sufi Islam. I see how people feel about it. I can also understand, being a Jew, there's aspects of this religion that if you speak to certain sects of this religion, that mainstream Jewish people would be like, that's not really representative of us. So I totally understand this idea of Sufism not representing most Muslims and most Islamic people. But that being said, there are so many Sufis out there. There's so many Sufi Muslims out there. And I had no idea that it was such a widespread thing. In Pakistan, in Afghanistan, in Iran, in like Central Asia, to me it's actually quite amazing. And so I feel like what I've learned as a lesson, first of all, from all of this, traveling from the Middle East to India and around, is one, this perspective of come as you are. Don't try to come with any preconceived notions or ideologies about yourself or about the people that you're going to interact with. It's been also being open to new ideas in a new reality. Not to get so abstract with it, but to really be open to the fact that what you know is not what you might know. That you might be able to flip everything you know in your head, and that there might be more to this picture than what you're seeing. But it requires you to sort of take a plunge into this world to understand it first. And I would say the third lesson to me is the most exciting part of this whole journey with Islam. Again, being a Jew, being Israeli, it's that I've got a lot more to learn. I feel like I've only sort of opened the jar a little bit, opened the can. I've got so much more to uncover about this religion, how it connects to my roots, to my family history. I mean, I know the bad parts. I really know the bad parts of what Arabic Islamism did to my family and my family history. I know some of the good parts. I know a little bit about it, but the bad overtook the good so hard that it made it impossible to sort of focus on the good. And so I'm curious to see how this journey develops more, especially in light of Sufism, and how I can keep learning more about this religion. And the biggest thing that I remember I drew from it was that Sufism is not, you don't have to be a Muslim to practice Sufism. Sufism is something that can be sort of adopted by everyone. I think it stemmed from Islam, but it can be granted to everyone. It can be something that everyone practices. And so for me, I'm not somebody who's I'm gonna say I'm a Sufi Jew. That's just not how I roll. But learning and practicing and adopting the mentality of Sufism and that love aspect to me is so cool, and I would love to see how I can make it sort of interpolate in my life and bring that out through, again, everything kind of through a funnel. Feed it through the top and filter it out in a way that I see fit in my life. But I'm very excited because I think I have so much more to learn. I've got I feel like I've got just oodles more to learn. I'm really just at the beginning of the journey with all of this, especially with Islam. I have tons to uncover about this religion, tons to uncover about this belief system, about the people that are a part of it. Maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, because this one video that we made about being an Emirati woman kind of blew up, and then a video about being an Arab woman kind of blew up, and I realized that sometimes when I talk about Islam on this channel, it performs pretty well. So for me to make a career out of talking to Muslims doesn't sound like the worst idea in the world. Very interesting to me, and I'd love to hear if that's something that you guys watching are interested in, because if it is, it's something I would totally be interested in taking on the challenge of sort of getting to know Islam on a more deeper, intimate level as a Jew. I feel like it's something really beautiful because, again, I will never be coming at it of an aspect of, well, I can never say never, right? I don't see myself ever converting to another religion or adopting another belief system. I'm pretty set in my ways, and I'm a pretty arrogant person. I really believe in my family history, in my religion, in my belief system, in my people. I don't see myself changing out of that ever. I can't say that it won't happen because I don't know the future. But I think it would be really cool to come to the table and make videos on this channel speaking to Muslims around the world about Islam, about the different variations of Islam, and getting to know Muslims on a deeper level as a Jew. And who knows, maybe that could be a solution to peace in some weird way. Maybe that could be some sort of processing that Jews and Arabs and Muslims need. And maybe this sit-down conversations between me and Sufis can be sort of a first step process to bridge that gap. I don't know. A lot of this sounds like very hippie talk to me too, which I don't necessarily subscribe to, but I'm open to everything. I'm a very open person. I might be very arrogant and very set in my ways, but I'm very open to hearing and learning new things. And I don't know why. I really don't know how to explain it. I've got a sweet spot in my heart for Islam and for Muslims. I don't know how to explain it, and I don't know why. It's just there. There's a sweet spot in my heart that always craves to know more and understand. Ask anybody, my family, my friends. I don't know when this started, but you see, anytime that Arabs or Muslims or Islam comes up, I've always got this gravitation towards, I want to know more, I want to understand more. It could be just because of how I grew up, sort of having access to it, but it kind of being stigmatized. It was accessible, but also maybe you should stay away. I'm not sure. It's very confusing. But that being said, Sufi Islam taught me a lot. And Islam in this country, in India specifically, taught me a lot, and it's been a crazy cool journey so far, and I'm really excited for more to come. All right, so in part of our Muslim friends here in Agra, we popped over to, what's up, my brother? We popped off to Ayat restaurant, Ayat Almaza Chicken. I looked up online. It looks like a Muslim-owned restaurant here. I'm curious to see what the Sufi food is like. It was so good in Delhi. I'm curious in Agra what it's gonna be like. Brother, I ask you,
Fish tikka, fish fry, fish.
what is? I want to taste Muslim food of Agra. What is the best one to take?
Gravy or non-gravy?
Gravy or non-gravy? I don't know. What's good? Whatever is the best.
Dry item. Dry.
Okay, gravy. Gravy, okay.
Chicken roasted.
Chicken roasted, tandoori chicken.
Yes.
What about from like here? These. What is the best like Agra one?
Chicken changezi.
Chicken changezi.
Yes.
Okay. Chicken changezi.
Spicy, non-spicy.
Little spicy.
No.
Yeah, only small spicy. Chicken changezi, okay? Or too spicy? What about chicken mughali?
Chicken nihari is spicy.
It's spicy. This one also, chicken mughali?
Mughlai, no, spicy.
Spicy also. Alright, we're in a bit of a pickle here with the spiciness.
Chicken malai, non-spicy.
Not spicy. Okay. But not Agra. Chicken malai. Agra dish or not Agra dish? From Agra?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Okay, chicken malai for me.
And the fish.
Wow. Shukriya. Okay guys, so we've got a bit of a Mughal feast here. I don't know if I can call this really Mughal food. This one was called chicken malai, which I'm assuming is a malai kofta. Ah, thank you. Thank you. Malai kofta base. Shukriya. It smells like a malai kofta base. So I don't, again, I can't exactly, look at this. Butter chicken. There's like literally a whole stick of butter melting in there in a chicken wing. This is gonna be my first butter chicken in India. I haven't had it yet. And then the one that looks really phenomenal is Moshe's fish tikka, like a tikka masala fish. Looks absolutely amazing. Looks cooked to perfection. And they know how to cook a fish in India. Look at that texture. I'm gonna try this first. Oh my god. Holy shit. That's insanely delicious. Wow, it hit my tongue. It's just instantly like delicious. Alright, try the chicken malai. Really marinated chicken. Really good, a little bit spicy. Chicken's so juicy, it falls right off the bone, it's insane. And one of my favorite dishes of all time, butter chicken. If you've never had this before, it's kind of like a sweet, tomatoey, buttery gravy. It gives me horrible heartburn, but like, it's so delicious. Wow. My god. Then, of course, we got a side of slippery, buttery naan. Get this right into the malai. It's actually our last day in India today. We're leaving. I'm gonna miss the food here so much. Unbelievably delicious. Almost everywhere we go. Just phenomenal. I don't know what kind of fish it is. I don't know what it is, but it's insane. Yeah. Yeah.
On butter.
It's butter.
It's butter. Oh my god. That is It's literally like the juiciest, butteriest fish I've ever had.
Oh my god, dude, I'm jealous. It's actually, I wish I ordered this. I'm just gonna steal this last piece right here. Oh my god, the seasoning is unbelievable. It's like a little charred, a little charcoaly, like a little barbecue-y. This food's next level. Okay, maybe people watching this video who are from here, you'll be able to tell me if this is authentically Agra food, but it's definitely halal.
Everybody in here is Muslim. You can see by the way the people are dressed. So that was the basic premises. We wanted to try some authentically Muslim food in Agra. Sort of join forces with the community here and see what it's like. Wow. Wow. What a meal, huh? 10 out of 10. That was amazing. Again, I don't know if to rate the exact level of authenticity, but absolutely delicious. Like, I just cleaned all the meat off these bones completely. We've got a 13-hour bus to the border of Nepal tonight, so I'm trying to take it easy on our stomachs, but wow, amazing.
So check it out. We came here in the middle of town. And there's this beautiful mosque / school here. Hello. It's called It's beautiful. It's got some beautiful minarets and some beautiful towers here. And I think these are like the outer areas of where maybe most of the Muslims are living in the neighborhood here. A lot of the buildings have like these etched designs, but I can't really tell between what area is specifically Hindu or specifically Muslim. But I'm assuming because of the masjid here, got a nice Muslim area, Muslim neighborhood here. I'm getting some faluda made. Some delicious street faluda. A little bit of ice cream, a little bit of noodle, a little bit of ice. I have no idea what that is. Gabri? Assalamu alaikum. Some cashew. It's okay, it's okay. Okay.
I love this.
Thank you. I was like, he's gonna put shaved ice on it. It's not just the shaved ice. Okay, like, here's what I want to say. I'm really conflicted right now because it's our last day in India, and I've eaten faluda over the course of the last couple of years, and I tried to find the pink one in India, and I didn't find it till right now. I couldn't find it. The problem is we have like a 13-hour bus to Nepal tonight, and if I get some food poisoning over faluda, I'm screwed. And it's not that I don't think it's delicious. I think it's probably gonna be amazing. Probably the best one you've ever had. It's just he didn't wear any gloves. It was his bare hands. I didn't see him washing his hands beforehand. Lots of ice and lots of tap water that was in there just going in here. But I think because I ordered it, I've got to take at least just one bite. It just looks so good. Also, what was this thing? It looks really nice. I gotta take a bite. I have to. One bite and that's it. And then I'll give it to someone so it doesn't go to waste. Oh, God damn it, it's so good. Let's pretend like Tal ate the whole thing. What do I do with this now?